Have you ever witnessed a moment so powerful that it felt like destiny itself was speaking? Imagine this: a struggling father, broken, rushing his sick son to the hospital with no hope left in his pocket. And just when he thinks life can't get any crueler, his little boy lifts a tiny hand, points toward a woman in a sharp business suit, and says, "A broken bar, Daddy, a broken bar, that's Mommy." But here's the twist: and she's not just anyone. She's the CEO of the very hospital he walked into. It all began on a cold evening. Armin, a single father in his late 30s, worked 2 jobs just to put food on the table for his son, Ian. Life hadn't been kind. His wife had walked out years ago, leaving him to raise their boy alone. Every day was a battle: rent overdue, bills piling up, and an empty wallet mocking him every time Ian needed medicine. But despite the hardships, Armin's love for his son never wavered. He would skip meals, sell his belongings, and walk miles just to make sure Ian smiled. But that night was different. Ian's small chest wheezed with every breath, his fever spiked dangerously, and Armin knew this wasn't something a home remedy could fix. Desperation clawed at him as he carried his son in his arms, running down the streets to the nearest hospital. His legs ached, his heart pounded, but his fear for losing the only person he lived for kept him going. The hospital's grand glass doors slid open, and Armin rushed inside, sweat dripping from his forehead. Doctors and nurses bustled past him, but he couldn't afford their fees. He stood frozen, clutching his son, whispering silent prayers. That's when Ian, weak but alert, pointed at a figure across the lobby. "Daddy, a broken bar, that's Mommy." Armin turned his head, and his world stopped. There she was, Mish, the woman who had left them years ago. But she wasn't just standing there as any ordinary person. She was dressed in a sleek suit, her presence commanding the respect of everyone around her. People whispered her name with reverence. "That's the CEO." Armin's heart twisted with anger and betrayal. Memories of nights when he begged her to stay, when he struggled alone while she built her empire, came flooding back. He wanted to yell, to ask her how she could abandon them. But before he could speak, Ian's tiny hand clutched his shirt tighter. His boy needed him, not his anger. Misha noticed the commotion, her sharp CEO mask slipping for the first time when her eyes met Ian's. Shock rippled across her face, and for a brief second, the powerful businesswoman vanished. She was just a mother who hadn't seen her child in years. She rushed over, her hands trembling as she reached out. "Ian, a broken bar, my baby, a broken bar." But Armin stepped back, shielding his son. "You lost that right when you walked away," he snapped, his voice cracking with years of pain. The hospital lobby went silent. Staff and patients stopped to watch a story unfold that was bigger than any medical emergency. Ian, too young to understand the scars between his parents, looked up at both of them with teary eyes. "Please, he broken bar, don't fight. I just want Mommy and Daddy." His innocent words shattered the walls they had both built. In that moment, Mish made a choice. She ordered the doctors to take Ian in immediately. No paperwork, no fees. She personally stood by his side until he was stabilized. And for the first time in years, Armin saw a glimpse of the woman he once loved, not the CEO, not the powerful figure, but the mother who once sang lullabies in the dark. The hours that followed were heavy with silence and unspoken words. When Ian finally rested, breathing calmly, Mish turned to Armin with tears in her eyes. "I was wrong," she whispered. "I thought success would make me whole, but I've been empty without him, a broken bar without you." Armin's anger melted, not completely, but enough for forgiveness to seep in. He had carried bitterness like a burden for too long. And maybe, just maybe, life had brought them together again for a reason. The story didn't end with a perfect fairy tale. Healing takes time, trust takes rebuilding, and wounds don't vanish overnight. But as they both stood by Ian's bed, their fingers brushing as they tucked him in, one thing was clear. Love was stronger than pride, stronger than past mistakes, and stronger than the walls they had built. So when people ask, what makes a family? It's not wealth, titles, or perfect decisions. It's sacrifice, it's forgiveness, and above all, it's love that refuses to let go. No matter how broken the past may seem. And maybe that's the message you needed to hear today, because sometimes the people we think are gone forever broken are brought back into our lives at the exact moment we need them most.